All right, when we hear about sanctuary states and pro-sanctuary governors, it's important that we get really specific about whom they're protecting. People like 32-year-old honor student, I'm joking, Jose Ignacio Bonilla Garcia. He's an illegal from Honduras, accused now of dragging an unconscious man behind a New York dumpster and raping him. Now, when the man woke up in the middle of the attack, prosecutors say the suspect beat the victim with a wooden plank. He was captured on a bus later on in Texas heading toward the border. Oh, now Bonilla Garcia wants to leave the country? He was already deported 3 times and came back. But New York wants to protect illegals, which is why Kathy Hochul is doubling down on sanctuary policies. Border czar Tom Homan's had enough and is promising to flood the state with ICE agents. He's with me now. Border czar Hochul, I want you to listen closely to what Kathy Hochul said in response to your promise to do more. Watch.
All I'll say to Mr. Homan is that Donald Trump himself said he would not send a surge of ICE agents to the state of New York unless I ask. I'm not asking.
Tom, she says she's not asking, so essentially butt out.
Well, Governor Hochul, I'm not asking either. I said it, we're going to do it. You know, she wants to sign legislation. She supports this legislation. It's going to lock us out of jails. It's going to end 287G agreements. And it's going to prevent us from arresting a criminal alien in the safety and security of a jail. We have partnerships in New York, you know, throughout the state. Not everywhere, but she wants to end the partnerships we currently have, which means now we got to send a whole team to look for a criminal that we could arrest in the safety and security of a jail, which is safer for the officers, safer for the alien, certainly safer for the community. So you're forcing us into the neighborhoods to find this person, which means since we lost the efficiencies of the jails that you want to lock us out of, now we got to send a whole team out there to find this person. So of course we're going to increase manpower a lot. And not only that, she says she wants to protect the migrant communities. Really? Because now we arrest an illegal alien. We can't rent a bed from any of the sheriffs in New York State. So what are we going to do? We're going to arrest that illegal alien. We're going to fly them to Texas, Arizona, to one of our detention facilities there, away from their families, away from their attorneys. This is what we have to do because she forces us in this position. And we're going to do it. They're not going to stop us. They can put all the roadblocks they want, but we're going to do this job.
Well, legally, I know there are appeals here to what they're trying to do, but they're trying, so people understand this, prevent ICE from actually operating in public, most public places. So jails, courthouses. But I mean, that's kind of a constitutional question, whether you can interfere with someone's really a freedom of association, freedom of movement of federal immigration officials. That's not how things roll in our society, but they're going to push it. And I think, Tom, they want to create another summer of love situation with more protests, get people hopped up in the streets, and see if they can roll this right into the midterms. That's what I think this is all about in the end.
Well, we're going to enforce the law regardless. And, you know, she wants to put fear in the migrant community. She wants to get American people to turn against ICE because she talks about stay out of the churches, stay out of the hospitals, stay out of the schools. I want her to give me one example. I want one example anywhere throughout the United States since President Trump's been in the Oval Office. Give me one example anywhere where ICE has arrested somebody in a hospital, where ICE has arrested somebody in elementary school, where ICE has arrested somebody in church. It's just a false narrative. They're trying to scare not only the legal immigrant community, they're trying to turn the American people against ICE. The only people that violated the sanctuary of his church was Don Lemon and that group. ICE does a professional job, and we're going to do it in New York. She says she supports, I've seen her 100 times saying, I support, you know, ICE targeting criminals. You can't square that and kick us out of the jails. You can't square that and kick us out of Rikers Island. You can't square that and end our partnerships on 287G with some of the biggest jails in that state.
Now, CNN correspondents are now saying that ICE is changing its approach, Tom. Watch.
We are seeing less of those sweeping raids that we saw last year and more of that targeted, quiet approach to immigration enforcement. But of course, that doesn't mean that it's only public safety and national security threats that are being detained. It is also a lot of others who don't have criminal history.
So, Tom, you know, MAGA wants mass deportations. That's what President Trump ran on. They want it ramped up, not ramped down. And I know there's a lot going on with that, but that's what people want. But she's insinuating that innocent people now are being targeted, but more quietly.
The bottom line, mass deportation, what they're going to get. I talk to Mark Wayne Mullen every day. We have a strategy. Numbers are down slightly because the government was shut down. DHS was shut down. The officers are getting paid, but people do the targeting. The smart people who run these databases help us target where to find people that want to be found. That's all been unpaid. But look, I've been working very closely with Mark Wayne Mullen. We got a strategy. New York's going to be one of them. Look, and we're going to flood the zone in New York. We have to. We have to arrest criminal public safety threats. I just looked at the numbers before this show. We've already arrested over 6,100 illegal alien criminals and taken them off the streets in New York, and we're going to keep doing it. But look, we're going to arrest non-criminals, even though President Trump is prioritizing public safety threats, national security threats. If you look at the numbers right now, about 60% of everybody we're arresting is a criminal. The other 40% are not. I think that's a good percentage. I think that's a better percentage than 40% criminal and 60% non-criminal. But everybody's on the table. And here's what Kathy Hochul is going to get in New York. When you force us in the community to find a bad guy, and we will find them, many times we're with others. Others that may be in the country illegally, but not a target, not a criminal threat, not a national security threat. They may have been here for 20 years, but guess what? They're coming too because they're in the country illegally. We're not going to tell ICE to turn a blind eye to the oath they took or ignore the laws passed by Congress that we get appropriated to enforce. So she's going to enforce more collateral arrests. She's going to enforce non-criminal arrests. I'm certainly okay with that. We're going to lose the efficiency of the jails, and that's what you get in return. It's not a threat. It's a valid response for her taking away the efficiencies and the safety of the jails. We got to send more agents there to keep New York safer and keep our officers safer.
I mean, that video, the guy being dragged behind the dumpster. I mean, this is worse. It gets worse and worse. Tom, thank you so much for joining us, and thank the men and women of ICE. They do an unbelievable job.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.